Who is the biggest crash out in professional wrestling? Now, for me, I think it's extremely obvious, and if you've been watching professional wrestling as long as me, you already know specifically this version of this character, that 2009 Randy Orton was a menace to society. He was sadistic, he was a killer, he was pure evil incarnate around this time period. But when you saw Randy Orton punt kick Stephanie McMahon in front of her husband while he was handcuffed, he couldn't do nothing, and then DDTs her, and then looks at her, and then looks at Triple H, goes down, and then gives her a kiss and smiles at Triple H. It was at that moment where it was just like, this man is pure evil. He is evil, and that's why when I think of Crash Out, I think of Randy Orton. So like that's what I'm going with.
I ain't even gonna lie, bro. You was spitting with that Randy Orton take, but we ain't gonna talk about Crash Out if we ain't gonna talk about Matt Hardy. You wanna know why I'm gonna say Matt Hardy is the biggest crash out in professional wrestling? Is because Matt Hardy found out he got cheated on by Lita with Edge.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
boy. It was the thin line between love and hate.
Man.
It was a thin line because we didn't know what wrestling was and what reality was.
Yeah.
This was real.
Absolutely. It blurred the lines between fiction and reality. And that was the first storyline of my childhood that ever did that. Because what was happening was real.
Man.
So like I didn't know what was real, what was fiction, like the feud and everything.
I ain't look at women the same after what you did to Edge, bro. I will not die. I was like, oh.
Like,
when that happened, bro.
Oh my God.
I said, oh yeah, you the Wolverine, Matt Hardy. Bro, Matt Hardy said he did this. I was like this, I was 10 years old. Well, we went to SummerSlam 2005, man.
And I won, and that match in Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero for like the custody of Dominic Mysterio, if you know, you know. Those two matches were the reasons I wanted to watch SummerSlam. That
was a valid crash out.
Yeah.
When Matt Hardy crashed out, that was a valid crash out. He could have did it again.
Yeah.
And again and again because we was actually rooting for you, man. We wanted you to see. We wanted you to be champion. Everything Edge got, it should have been Matt Hardy.
Yeah,
it should
absolutely.
have been Matt 10 times over because he was the ultimate babyface because he had something that we could believe in. And that's why we hated Edge the most.
Absolutely.
That's why we hated Edge. By pushing Edge.
Oh my
and that's
God.
Why we hated him. We hated to love him. And at the end of the day, Matt and Edge, man, we glad y'all reconciled y'all differences because at the end of the day, y'all put on some bangers. We want to know, who is your crash out of professional wrestling? Me and Mike, we out.